Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. With Mother's Day around the corner, I was thinking about like what a pain it was to raise me. The other day, I was getting a little irritated when my toddler would just refuse to eat anything, right? Or would was behaving a specific way when he wanted to eat something, but he would not eat it. So there's always this whole song and dance, especially for people with kids and or like people who are caregivers. They can probably relate to like how difficult sometimes it is just to get something into the stomach. And I was thinking, God, I was no different than my son. Probably a lot more wimpy. I would not eat what has been cooked for everyone else. So uh, either for my mom or for my aunts or some other lady in my family had to accommodate me all the time because uh, maybe part of me was always like, oh, how can I make their day more draining? But they at least never made me feel that way. I was accommodated uh, more often than not, and then um, it just went on for a while. But looking back, it just feels like um, being a primary caregiver or just being a caregiver raising kids is such a tough job. And if you have a kid like me, like at least the time when I was younger, it becomes a big energy and time suck. I was thinking about it like when my mom came in uh, and she was like, "Oh, at least he eats something." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's true. I would not even do that." So yeah, yeah. We at least have lucked out, like knock on wood, for now. But you never know, right? So, but it also got me thinking how, like, for mom and her generation, it was never that easy, or like I don't know. It's always very tricky to talk about a time when you were not there, right? You were just trying to relate to it with your life experiences and what is the like what you're expecting the society to behave like. Like my mom did go to school and stuff. I do know from her time there are many who did not. But I did see very predominantly for people in her time, it was a very common thing for them to be a stay at home mom, raise kids, take care of the house, take care of the family, and yeah, just a never ending shift. Like um, like I remember an interesting thing which someone had said in one of my dad's friends' retirement. He was like, "Oh, men at least have a retirement, right? Like in India, around 58, 60, they get to retire. But if you're a stay-at-home mom taking care of the family, there is just never retirement. You're just going non-stop all the time." So yeah, that is something which I was reflecting on when I was thinking about that. And again, I'm no big, I'm not a big guy on like Mother's Day or like any gimmicky days. I feel like anyone and everyone deserves that remembrance and respect throughout the year. Not that specific day, and you get to be jerks the rest of the time. So. Yeah, and then a couple years ago, when my son was born, or a little over that, my mom and dad were here, and then around then, like she was well in her 50s, as she is in her 50s, and she had been complaining about knee pain. So I was just talking about like if she had seen doctors when she was in India, right? And she did mention like that she had tried quite a bit and um, or quite a few doctors are like different things, but not a lot of things were working or helping out. And then like in a like she did mention that like one of the doctors did ask her like, oh, does she know how to ride a bike? Maybe that would like help with the knee pain and just gradually help the ligaments and stuff. And then she like she's telling me that story, and then she pauses. Is like, well, this I am not good with anything. And then I'm like, well, how about we try now? Are you interested? And then she was like, sure. Like that is pretty much the interaction we had. And then I got her a bike. And for me, it is more like you have to act fast, right? If you give someone a chance to think about some other, or let their insecurities creep in, then like the whole thing stops. So I just got a bike for her as fast as I can. And then yeah, she was just like dragging her bike around, first in our backyard, and then in a road in front of us, which is not a very busy road. So that definitely helped. But again, it is just being, and I'm just thinking it in her terms, right? Like how, what must be going through her head? Because one of the things is to say yes, and then other thing is to just go ahead and do it, right? But one of the nice things about parents from that time, if you have put in the money, they'll at least put in as much effort as they can. Like that's just their generation. Like they are not very wasteful, and would like just try to get the most out of whatever you have put in. So. I had seen her like every single day. She would just go out there, and like we had converted her bike into more like a strider bike, where you take off the pedals from the bike. That way, you just get a feel for what it feels like, learn balancing, and she did that for a while. And gradually we added pedals, just so that, because like that's not how you will ever learn to bike, right? And then she, like every so often, over a few months, she got to a place where she was just making incremental progress in that. And then one random day she just learned how to ride, and not just ride, like first started as like a good 300-400 meter run, and then by the time like it was probably end of summer and we were into fall, she and I rode our bikes for about 5 miles or more, or somewhere around that, quite a few times. So yeah, that was one of the happiest and the proudest moment I had with that. But it also made me think about what if, right? Like for someone like her, like when she's not at her peak health, she got an opportunity and she learned something, right? She learned a new skill. There is first like a lot to learn about, like the whole thing about like, hey, there's never too late to learn, but I actually saw it unfold. But the next thing is just more around what I said about what if, like there is a whole generation of moms, at least in my side of the world, where they did not have the same opportunity like we had, right? Like a lot of our, I talk about like the 10-year roadmap, like where I want to be. I sometimes have to think about like all that is built on the back of sacrifices they have put through, right? Like not just her, but like many like her, my aunts, uncles, but like many women in my family, they had to accept what the society thought was something they had to do or conform to, and just tried their best to give us the best life. But yeah, that is what I was thinking. But on the positive side, there is also something to learn from that. Was just it's never too late to learn something. But also a reflection on seeing like how someday in future I'll be able to. Unfortunately, I have both boys, so there is no example that I can set with my kids. But definitely more around my family. Like how can I open the doors which were always closed for my mom and many in her generation. So again, like not a lot to ponder about, but just wanted to talk about this little story or like the thought I had. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.